Maybe you've seen it. There's a video on YouTube about a kind-looking older man sitting begging in a busy thoroughfare. He's attending to collect coins from passers-by and a sign written on a piece of cardboard that says, "I'm blind, please help." Only a few people stop, and those that do only leave the smallest amount of change, and the image is really quite pitiful. Then a well-dressed professional-looking lady walks past without giving any money, but she stops and goes back to him. And without saying a word, she takes his cardboard sign and writes something on the placard, but we don't actually see what she's written. She places the sign next to him and walks off. Shortly afterwards, we see most people passing by. They stop and give their loose change, and some of them give generously. Clearly the gentleman had a change of fortune, and when the same professional lady stopped by on her way back home, he said to her, "Please tell me, what did you write?" To which she replied, "I wrote the same, but in different words." What did she write on the sign to create such a change that motivated passers-by to give so generously? The sign said, "It's a beautiful day, and I can't see it." Changing the words changes the message, changes the emotional connection. The sign was changed from sympathy to empathy. Now, this may seem strange that we're talking about storytelling alongside the cut and thrust of strategic plans. Surely the best plan is to make a plan and get on with doing it, right? Well, hold on for just a moment. Your role as a trustee isn't so much about the doing, but it's everything to do with understanding the ways in which you want the school to move forward towards its mission. For your plans to succeed, you need to take into consideration the possible change management tactics, communication with stakeholders, and ways to get people on board with your ideas. As has been said before, board members are in a strange position of leadership within the school, and if you think about it from an outsider's perspective, what they need to see is a united board that's clear about the direction of the school, and with a messaging strategy that connects with the people in the community. If parents and staff see a board that's in turmoil, where there are evident divisions or splinters or power plays within the board, then it's not likely to be an effective period for the school when so much energy is focused internally on resolving this conflict. So given that all trustees have a role to play in supporting the school, there can be huge benefits when trustees take consistent messages and stories into the community. So have you thought about your school story and how you play a significant part in sharing and promoting it? What's your elevator speech as a trustee? Now that doesn't mean that every trustee has to memorize the party line speech. It's not that at all, no. It's not about being able to recite examination result statistics to people at a dinner party, but it's in taking the time as a board, in collaboration with the school's leadership, to share and unpack some of the school's success stories, and how they may be indicative of the mission or how they illustrate some of the school's values. And you can begin to appreciate the things that makes your school special. Let's face it, pretty much every school has a mission statement to provide great learning experiences for their children and to prepare them to be well-rounded, nice adults. So what makes your school special? What are the unique characteristics that makes it stand out? What are the anecdotes and little vignettes that characterize your school in particular? Having a vision for your school is essential, but so too is the ability to communicate that vision. There's a Japanese proverb that says, "A vision without action is a daydream. Action without a vision is a nightmare." Finding different ways to communicate your vision effectively is the key to stakeholder engagement, and in so doing, move the school forward. So you may see your role as a trustee as being an active participant on the board and committee meetings, but there's more to it than that. Governance is a form of leadership, and within the school you have a part to play in the messaging that gets filtered into the community. The conversations that you have with parents or local businesses are small parts of the larger jigsaw puzzle. If your messages are conflicting and confused, then it's likely that there'll be confusion and doubt in the community. And while there's a place for great presentations of data and facts or annual reports stuffed full of statistical analyses and examination result comparisons, people tend to remember the simple stuff, the stories and the personal connections. Think about it for a moment. All ideas that inspire are wrapped in a story. We're hardwired through 400,000 years of evolution to tell stories, and our very existence probably depended on them to differentiate between predators and prey. Stories can be used to illustrate and explain in ways that cut through the usual filters that people throw up to defend themselves. Neurological studies show that a storyteller and a listener will have the same regions of the brain activated when telling a story. A researcher, Dr. Paul Zak, said, "A compelling story with an emotional trigger alters our brain chemistry, making us more trusting, understanding, and open to ideas." And of course, schools are full of children, in which parents have a massive emotional investment. So time spent as a board understanding the mission and vision of the school and finding the stories that connect with your parents, teachers, and communities is key to being able to successfully execute your strategic plans. To what extent are you talking as a board about your communication strategies with your stakeholders? And how might you want to reflect on the success stories and anecdotes and how to weave them into your message?